Hey everybody, it's Derek with the Board Game Spotlight. I'm here joined by one of our friends, Eric Bitterman. Say hi.
Hey.
We are going to take a look into Isofarian Guard, and Eric was able to come down into the studio, walk me through what's happening here. This game is incredible. The attention to detail, the production. I mean, you have everything you would need if you want that's just an RPG campaign. You've got these chips, you've got plastic cards. Like, this is an incredible, incredible love letter. So, where did all this come from?
So, yeah, funny story. We started designing this game. It was originally going to be a small card game. It ended up being something a little larger than that.
You've got cards, though, so you stuck to that.
We stuck to cards, just a few cards in the game, around 1,500.
Okay.
But it is a campaign-driven game.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about the story in Isofarian Guard. And it's bag building. It's the primary mechanic, and lots of open-world exploration.
Yep.
The full story is, I want to mention this at the beginning, is completely audio narrated with foreteller.
Yes.
So 15 hours of audio with orchestral music behind it.
It's beautiful.
It's an incredible
gorgeous
experience.
It is. And I've listened to some of this music, and it is absolutely, it transports you into this world when you get that. It's so immersive. And we're actually going to get to listen to it. And on top of the foreteller app, which I think will be available once it delivers to backers and stuff, right?
Yes. So the foreteller app is free to download at any time. So backers that have already gotten the narration, they're going to get a redemption code. Yep. They can go into the app and they can redeem it. For people who got the game later, they'll be able to purchase it from the foreteller website and then unlock it as soon as the game starts shipping. So probably like late March, April.
I love it.
Yep.
On top of that, I'm super excited about this. We get to show off 2 never before seen characters. This is campaign 4. So
yes,
you got to play the game a little bit, right?
You're a veteran by the time you get to this content for sure.
So I'm playing as Pavel. Eric, you're Yana.
I am Yana.
And these two have an incredibly cool synergistic dynamic to them that I can't wait to show you. But before we get to combat, you've seen a lot of combat videos. You've seen a lot of how everything works in the world. Eric has given me the opportunity, well, us together, to show off the exploration of the world. So when you're not fighting, now granted, fighting is a lot of the game.
There's lots of battles. Yeah, that's where the primary mechanics take place with the bag building.
Right.
So when you're outside of battle, you're exploring on the map. We're going to show some of that.
Beautiful, beautiful map.
Yep.
And we're going to dive into what can you do when you're not engaged in a battle, and that's where we're going to start from. So Eric, why don't you kind of walk us through what's happening?
Okay, so we've got Pavel and Yana here. They're right in the middle of Isofar. They are on node 28. So this is actually where each of the 4 campaigns begin, on this exact same node.
Perfect.
Now, from where we are right now, we're pretending like we've already explored some of the campaign.
Sure.
We've gone down to the fort. Yep. And now we've got some tools and things equipped.
We do.
So that we're able to harvest wood from nodes, and we're able to mine ore from some nodes.
So, and I'll throw these up. You want to give me your pickaxe. So I've got this really cool axe, and Eric's got this pickaxe.
We both got axes.
We both have axes. You can go into the mines, and I can go into the forest.
Yes.
And this is equipment that's going to specifically allow us to upgrade fort, right? And gather other resources we might need?
So we could upgrade our fort, or we can gather these resources to craft equipment from different blacksmiths around the country.
Okay.
And we're only able to do this if we have this equipment equipped in our satchel slots. Now, if we didn't have this, let's say we wanted to go out and just battle against enemies or progress the story, we shouldn't have these equipped. We can leave them at the fort.
Okay.
In what's called the storehouse area, the stash.
Sure. You're just stashing it.
Yeah, and that way we got more slots available for loot and
that's not only important so you can hold more, but also because if for some reason we were to die,
so normally, if we were to fail in battle, we lose all the contents of our satchel.
Okay.
The good thing about our tools is we don't lose our tools.
Okay, can't lose.
Yeah, we don't lose our tools.
All right,
but everything else would be lost.
But we, at the fort, can we stash other items and stuff?
Or we absolutely can.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, like, if I was worried about losing something like this fish, for instance,
yes,
I could keep it back at the fort.
Absolutely. Or equipment, or let's say we did like a side quest.
Yeah.
And we got some incredible, equipment or something like that, and we don't want to lose it. We'd want to get down to the fort and store it.
Right?
Yep.
And again, this is just. It's so cool because you're going to get this feeling like, okay, let's say we find a really cool piece of equipment or a weapon or something cool north. We've got to trek back to the fort.
We do.
And it could be dangerous. Right?
It's definitely going to be dangerous. Now, I do want to say something about that. Yeah. Now, while you would have to possibly travel or traverse the entire country, there are things you can do where you can almost like fast travel and get your inventory down to the fort quicker.
Okay.
And that would be by upgrading a certain part of the fort to make like a boat, like a courier system available to you.
Maybe utilizing these rivers?
That's right.
Okay.
So that way you could just go to one of these cities and drop your equipment off at a port, and the courier will send back. So that way you don't have to.
That is so cool.
Take a lot of time off.
So good. So good. All right. So let's dive into exploring.
All right. So we've started the exploration phase. I'm actually going to start.
We're going to get to listen to the music.
Some music. Yeah. So anytime you're in the exploration phase, which we are, there's some exploration music that you can optionally use. It'll be in the Foreteller app as well.
Okay.
So we will put that on.
Of course we're going to use it.
And of course we're going to use it. So we are going to start, and we're using Pavoniana's chips here.
Yes.
We could optionally be using their miniature.
Optionally,
yes.
Look at these miniatures. Oh my goodness. Now, I'm about to blow your minds, because not only is this a double miniature, but they also can be removed from the base.
Yep.
I'm not going to tell you why, because that's probably spoiler.
No spoilers. No spoilers.
Yeah.
That's more for ease of access for
ease of
painting.
access? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And yeah, ease of access for penny, but this is so cool, the way that this system you've built for these miniatures. So you miniature painters out there,
yes,
you got to give Eric a big high five because he's made your life a lot easier to get on. Because we all know, painting miniatures, how do you get to that base, right?
That's right.
That base without getting on your characters, and then look,
and these are pretty.
Boom! Look at that.
These are pretty unique in that the two characters are close to each other, and they're in pairs. You can't swap them on the bases, but yeah, they're built to be. Painted easier.
I've already forgotten. There we go. Boom. All right. Pavel and Yana.
Yes.
The Eastern European dynamic duo.
Yes, absolutely. So we are on node 28. So we are going to move from 28 to 29, which is a mining node. Notice it's green here. So now normally, if we were to move to like another yellow node, we would be drawing a chip, and we could possibly have a battle that could happen.
From this bag right here.
Or possibly an event could happen.
Right.
But green chips, that doesn't happen. We can just immediately gather the resources for that. So node 29.
Okay.
We're going to take a look at our player aid and take a look at node 29.
It's fantastic, by the way. This little player aid has everything you're going to need to know. Node 29 is going to be right here. It is gold.
We get gold.
All right.
So we mine, and anytime we mine or harvest wood, or we get the maximum number that we can hold of that resources.
Okay.
So of that resource. So we're going to get 4 of the gold ore, and we get to put it in an open satchel. So
that is
you can place it in your satchel over there.
Yeah. And it's green screen, so you're not going to see some of those greens coming through on this, but it's still going to be great for you to see that.
Yes.
Larger on the screen.
So we've got gold now. We could possibly craft it into some cool equipment or something later.
Potentially sell it?
We could have we cannot sell it. We cannot. We could use it for the fort, or we could craft with it.
You could craft with it. Okay.
Things that we could sell would be things that enemies drop.
Got it.
Enemy loot.
So enemy loots and stuff.
Yes.
Cool.
Yes.
Great.
All right. Yeah, we found that with because it was so easy to mine and harvest, you could abuse that system and get like infinite money. So we didn't want to do that.
And I mean, honestly, though, like with gold, like thematically, who doesn't want to be walking around with a gold-plated like hammer or something? Just in my mind, that's what I think.
There may be one.
So from 29, it looks like we can go back to 28.
We can go back to 28,
or we can go up to 26.
We can go up to 26.
I think we should go to 26. What do you think?
I think so.
All right. Now this means we go to the bag, right?
We would go to the bag. We would draw a chip.
Oh man, I'm really unlucky.
Let's see what happens.
Historically bad at this.
Of course. So the worst possible draw happened. It is a triple skull, which means we're going to be going...
what did I just say?
We're going to go against the enemy.
It literally said that I have the worst draws.
The hardest possible encounter for this snow. So normally, in this instance, we would take a look at the index book.
Yes.
And that would tell us the type of enemy that we'd be going against.
Right.
But for this example, and to save some time, I'm just going to choose an enemy.
Planned. Yeah. Yeah, you
so
choose it out there.
In this example, we are going to battle against a 1-star Seer Acolyte.
Okay, so you can see this. By the way, Eric, the art on this game is so good. Your artist is incredible. Was it one or many artists?
So we had a team of artists that worked on this, and they really did a great job.
It's gorgeous. I love it all. Does this go back in the bag, by the way?
So that would go back into the bag.
Yeah. So you got that. Yeah. Pull that again. All right, so the Seer Acolyte is going to give us some trouble.
It is now... We had talked about this before we started filming, but are we going to play in Tenebrous mode?
You know what? So there are 3 levels to the game, right? You've got your story mode, which is beginner. You've got, I don't remember the name of the normal mode, just the middle mode.
Standard.
Right? Standard, normal mode. And then you've got Tenebrous, which is the hardest difficulty. I think we are going to do Tenebrous.
Let's do it.
I mean, because listen, this game is not meant to be easy. It's like any good co-op. You're looking at a game that is going to cause you to think, plan, and lose.
I mean,
every once in a while, you might fail.
And you can always adjust too. I want to put that out there too, because people have been asking about it. You can take this at your own pace and progress the story or not and just explore.
Yeah.
But if you find that the difficulty is too much, you can tone it down.
Right.
Or you can tune it up right in the middle of the campaign. So you're like, hey, I've been moving through the content really easy. Let's jump up to Tenebrous for a little bit. And then if you get to a wall like a boss or something, you just get wiped. We can tone it down a little bit. So whatever you'd like, you can change it.
Okay, then that's great. So let's try Tenebrous.
Okay.
I feel like I have a very experienced gamer, a very experienced Isofarian Guard.
I've played this a little bit. All right. A couple hours.
All right. So walk us through what's happening.
Okay, so we've set up the Seer Acolyte's dashboard here. He has a starting health of 8, so we put the cube there. Now he has a starting attack of 2, but in Tenebrous mode, he has 2 additional attack.
That's right.
So he's going to have 4.
Hit us a little bit harder.
Yes. His defense, however, is only a 1, and that does not increase for Tenebrous mode, so that's good. We can still hit him just as hard.
But he might have some things that might give him some defense, right?
He's possibly going to have some tools available.
Okay.
He gets 2 starting action points. Now, in Tenebrous mode, he gets an additional 1, which means he's able to do more things with his AI deck than normal.
And we were talking about this. Can you tell me why that specifically was made? Because you were trying to balance the Automa, right?
That's right. So the AI decks stay the same. Yeah. So the enemy cards themselves are in star values.
Right.
So you'll have 1 star, 2 star, 3 star, and then 4. And the stats will go up on these, but the AI deck remains the same.
Right.
But because the stats go up, if they have more action points, they're able to do more things off the card. So if they're able to chain into another card, they can do more, but with less AP.
So you're fighting a harder boss.
Yes, they can hit harder
without you or me as the gamer having to change out the decks and add and take away. It's just here's your deck, you play it.
That's right.
That's great.
It's much more streamlined and it allows us to set up quick.
I love it. All right, now also in Tenebrous mode, I believe there's a little change to combat, right?
So we're ambushed.
We get ambushed.
We're ambushed, which means the enemies are going to go first. So we essentially skip our turn for round 1.
Yep.
The enemies will go, and then things will go back to normal.
Yep. So then we'll go, and then they'll go.
That's right.
And we go back to the okay.
So he's going to begin. Let's see what he does on turn 1. I hope we're ready. We have nothing out here. Card 1.
All right, we've got choosing a target, all enemies. So
he's hitting us both.
Both of us are getting hit with false litanies.
False litany. So it's going to cost him 2 action points.
Okay.
And what does it do?
So we're going to have to... Oh, are you serious? Discarding 2 chips from our bag.
We're losing chips from our bag.
Already.
2 random chips, so...
I feel like this is like an intimidation, like, hey, and I'm like... I don't know what to do right now.
I lose a shield and a sword.
Oh, okay.
So they will go right into discard.
All right.
So less chips from our bags, and he continues his turn. What is he going to
do? So now he's going to target himself, and he's gaining defense. So he's going to use this last action cube.
He is. Now, I want to know, if this wasn't Tenebrous mode, he would have been done here.
Right.
So
So not only is he doing something to us, but he's also like, okay, look, I see two of you.
Yep.
I'm not going to fight you. What I'm going to do is I'm going into a guard.
He's going to tank up.
And now we have the 2 defense value that we have to overcome.
We're doing less damage.
Oh, my goodness.
And we have less resources to work with.
All right. I feel like we can do it, though.
So that was it.
I believe in ourselves.
That was it, though. He's done, which means he didn't actually attack us, which is good.
Positive.
So the round is over. So we're going to refresh his action points.
Yep.
And now we're going to start the round normal.
And it's always important at the end of your turn, you always refresh your action cubes because they can be changed, right? Or he can mess with ours, or we can mess with his. They
can modify our action points. We can modify theirs.
Oh, just drop clear. I'll get that.
All right. So I'm going to go first.
You definitely go first. Yep. And so you get to see Yana here. Let's get rid of this because we saw what he did. Yana's got some really awesome stuff. Eric, show us the power.
All right. Let's see if I get a good draw, though. So I'm going to draw chips from her bag equal to her AP, which is 2.
And we both start with 2.
Yep.
Okay.
So I got a double sword. That's exactly what I needed. Good. And the second is another sword.
Okay.
All right. I think I'm going to take the double sword.
Yep.
And I'm going to activate Inferno. So go ahead and show that card off.
So look at this. Now you're probably going to see some weird stuff here.
Yes.
All right. Talk to us about what's happening here.
So this is something unique with Yana is she's going to actually add bad chips to her own bag.
Okay.
To be able to utilize this power that she has. It's kind of like unstable.
Sure.
So she's going to...
She's drawing this magic, but there's a little downside to it.
That's right.
Okay.
So she's going to add these 2 weakened chips, which are red, to her bag. So these are not going to count against the draw when they're drawn.
Okay.
So they're going to be added. And she's going to attack one enemy for +2.
Okay.
So I've got an attack of 2, which means I'm hitting for 4. But he raises defense up to 2, so I'm only doing
2 damage.
2 damage.
That's how math works. I'm not good at math, but that's how it works.
All right. So with only 1 sword remaining. Oh, you know what?
What you got?
Let's backtrack. I'm going to backtrack.
Sure.
So instead of doing that...
Oh, is there a better sequence you've got
There's a better sequence before doing that. So she's got a Speaking Stone ability called Refiner's Fire. So it says remove one negative
chip,
red chip from her bag.
Yeah.
And replace with 1 positive green chip. Now, she doesn't have any negative chips in her bag yet. She would have if I would have done that card first.
Right.
But there's a reason why I'm doing this card first. We're going to get to that. So
all right. So let's
put that chip.
Let's activate
let's put that card back. We're going to activate it by placing the gem on the card.
Okay.
Now, it's not going to do anything.
Sure.
But let's watch what happens. Now we're going to activate Inferno.
We go through that same process.
Yes.
Taking the damage.
2. I still got those negative chips in my bag. Good.
Yep.
It costs her 2 AP.
Yep.
We put the negative chips in her bag. She attacks the enemy. He's down to 6. Then it says Awaken. Now, this is Yana's key word. And it says Awaken, and it's got a fire icon, which means if she has a Stonebound ability card that's fire or her ally,
then
this effect triggers.
And it has to be active. That's
right.
It really has to be active.
That means a gem has to be on the card itself.
Yeah.
So because I do have it active, and this is the reason why I did this first, this will trigger, which means the target loses an additional 2 health. So
fire damage.
He's down to 4. So, and that would have been even more value if I had negative chips to replace right now. She would have been able to do even more damage.
But and this is important. That's direct damage.
That's direct damage.
So you don't have to worry about defense.
It bypasses the defense, which is great. So I think I'm done. I do have this extra sword chip, but remember he raised his defense. So let's say I decided to attack anyway. I'm only attacking for 2. He's got a defensive 2.
And that's important because if you don't have enough chips to activate a card, you can always just do a standard attack.
That's right.
So your standard attack is just going to be based on whatever damage you do just inherently without any modifiers. So yeah, which is great. There's always something to do with your chips. There's never any bad draws. Per se, right? So that's great.
Well, there could be bad draws,
but I mean, there's gonna be things to do with it.
There could be bad draws from the negative stuff being put in my bag.
So then it goes to me, right?
It goes to you.
All right.
So you're gonna draw 2 chips.
Now I've got a really sweet purple chip in here with this dark hammer. Let's see if I can get it. That's not purple.
That's not the one.
Is it this one? Oh, it's not. Okay. So I'm gonna activate my adrenaline rush. Now, Pavel's got this sweet. He's ramping up. Pavel's gaining just an immense amount of action. So when I activate this, I gain a green cube that now goes into my active slot, which now I've got 3 actions I can take in a turn.
That's right. Now you use 2 action points to activate
that. I did use 2 to do that. Yep. You can see here, I've got 2 action points. Now I can endure. And endure is my keyword, like your awaken. Mm-hmm. So my endure says that I draw 3 chips from my ally's bag.
Yes.
And for every... Well, let's do it. Let's draw 3. Let's draw 3 chips and then we'll walk through it.
3 one at a time.
I think... Well, you don't have much more than 3 in there. Well, no, you got a few in here. Come on, give me something good. Hey, that's what we wanted to see. Woo!
2.
All right. This goes back to your bag.
Yes.
These chips that Yana had put in there, these are bad for you, but I can make use of them.
So you're enduring them onto yourself. So that's a cool thing about Pavel. Yeah, so he's all about like protecting his allies and taking their affliction upon himself.
Right. And that's what I was talking about earlier with the dynamic synergy you're going to see where she's building a bag full of kind of baddish stuff. And Pavel's like, you know what? Let me take that from you and I'm going to put it to use. So these go on my board. My attacks are -1 now.
2.
Well, -2 now.
Yeah.
But now you get to make an attack
twice.
So because
for every negative you draw, that goes off.
Yep.
So
I'm getting some cool engine building here.
So here's the bad thing though.
Yeah.
So timing wise,
it's not great.
This would have been great if he didn't put that defense on right now.
I know. Because the attacks are at standard value.
They're at standard value. So I'm hitting him twice, but he's got his defense up right now. Now, if he didn't, that would have been 2 damage right now.
Right.
And if we would have set this up better in like a later round and I had like high strength, this could be devastating.
It could be devastating. Yes. But I also want to take note, though, Eric, that stays on there for the entire battle.
For the round.
Or for the round. I'm sorry, for this round. Yeah,
that's right.
That's right.
Yeah.
These stay for the entire battle.
Yes.
Okay, so we didn't necessarily make great use of that right now, but we could.
But there's something else cool you could do.
There is something else cool that I can do because I have 1 action left.
Yeah.
I can use this chip to activate. No, hold on a second. I can do my Stonebound.
You can.
So my obsidian, I gain a defense chip. So I'm beefing up. But for every negative chip I have on Pavel, look at this. Boom. I'm all the way up to 4 defense.
That's right.
And because I went last in the turn, I take this chip.
That's right. Now it's not for going last in the turn. It's the last guard that attacked an enemy. Now,
okay.
I attacked, so I would actually have aggro. You did not swing yet, right? Or did you swing?
I have not swung yet.
You did not.
Oh, I see what you're saying. So I see it's the last person that attacked. Well, there's no way for me to take that from you. So you're going to grab that.
I still got aggro.
But I'm going to go ahead and do this. I'm going to do Pride of Isofar.
Okay.
So while this is active just meaning there's a chip on the card, I get a +1 defense. I'm at 5 defense right now.
That's right.
And then I get to endure. I get to draw out of here, and this is great. I draw 3 again.
3 again.
There's 1. There's a second, and here's a third.
It's got to be the negative.
It's got to be it. What?
No.
Where's it at?
Oh, no. I only added 2.
Oh, you only added 2. Oh, my math was off. All right.
So nothing.
My bad. I still was going to do the endure, though. That's okay. So that's finished, and I'm at the end of my turn.
Yep. Okay. So I still got aggro. We've done our turn. So now we're going to refresh our action points.
Yep.
And the enemy's going to begin his second turn. So I'm going to hand this card to you so they can see what it looks like.
Okay, so this is going to target both of us again.
All right.
So they're doing a whirl attack.
So it's costing him 2 action points.
Now, this honestly is not bad because even though you were the aggro character, it's targeting us both, so it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
Well, it is kind of a big deal, but 2 actions.
Yeah, 2 action points.
For
hitting
an attack
+1.
+1, so
5. So I don't have any defense up. So I'm taking 4 damage.
I have 4 defense up thanks to these cubes here. So I take 1, I go to 19.
So I started at 20, I am down to 16.
Oh my goodness.
Now did he actually get through your defense? You have a defense of 5 right now.
Because of my +1.
That's right.
That's right.
So
no damage. No damage. I'm
just
I'm
like,
I'm like,
He's like, whatever.
Puny acolyte. You're going to have to hit me harder than that.
And that's it. It says end turn.
Yeah, so end turn. So even though he had more actions to spend, some of the cards are going to just...
Yeah, they'll hit hard and be done.
Sure.
So it just depends on the draw they have.
Right.
So now he's done.
All right.
So we're going to refresh his action points, and now we're going to perform cleanup on our cards.
Okay. So performing the cleanup means that the cards that the chips we placed, go to discard. And the important thing here is if a card has, and I'll show it here so you can see it, but there's this little flip icon at the top left. What happens is you're going to flip this over and have an entirely new ability available during the next round of battle.
Yes.
Which is really cool because these abilities are very different.
They are.
And so not only is there a timing aspect of like, oh man, I really want my alternate ability on this next turn. So it's like, what do I activate and try to get that, right?
That's right. And a lot of fun with the system is discovering those combos with each of these characters, and you can swap these abilities out during the exploration phase. So you're always, changing things out and changing your strategy as you're going against different enemies.
I love it. All right, well, let's get to this next round.
So make sure those 2 negative chips go back to the supply. We don't want you hitting for less anymore.
Yeah, those go away. I have taken that burden and it's gone.
All right, let's start with Yana again.
Yes, Yana,
and
for sure.
Hopefully we can do more damage this time. First one is a shield chip.
Now I'm gonna ask you a question because there's a lot of people that always ask this question. Anytime you're playing a bag builder, are you ever allowed to look inside your bag?
You can look in the bag at any time before you take a draw action. Okay. So you can be like, hey, I've got this many in here, I've got this many negatives, and that will absolutely influence what you do with your cards.
Okay. Yeah. Got it.
Yeah. All right, and a sword.
Okay.
So I wanted to do some direct damage here with Rain of Fire, but I don't have it. So I'm going to...
Well, wouldn't that have flipped? Or no, it was Inferno last turn. That's right. Yeah, Rain of Fire, yeah.
But I do have some options here. I'm going to activate Manipulation.
Okay.
It says 1 sword or shield chip can be used as 2 times the value.
Ooh, so
which
this is
means
one of your stone abilities.
Yep.
Which actually on mine, I need to move that stone down. Because it cycles through. Once you've used it, there's a cool-off period.
That's right.
And then it's active again.
Every other turn.
Yep. So there you go.
So I can make this sword 2 swords, or I can make the shield 2 shields with Manipulation. So I could use...
so you can do Rain of Fire?
But I can't.
Okay. And what's
because it costs 3 AP.
Oh!
So it would be wiser for me to actually use Faith. So let's do that. It costs 1 sword and shield. Yeah, go ahead and show that off.
Yeah. So and you've got that combination. You've got a sword and a shield.
I do. So this one says, draw all the black chips from the bag and immediately discard them. And I do have 1 chip remaining in my bag, so now it's going to be empty.
Okay.
It's going to immediately be discarded. Now the question is, why would I want to get rid of all my black chips for Yana? What would be a reason for that, do you think?
Well, it means you're going to have just the bad stuff that I could draw into left, right?
So there's a combo here.
Yeah.
So if I can get rid of my black chips, which will be, I could do less things on my turn, or if I do it at the end of round, it won't make a difference.
Yeah.
But I'm leaving all those bad chips for you.
So I'm not, because you saw me pull some black chips out. Right. That way I know I'm going in.
You're going to trigger with every draw.
Yeah.
So he's going to be able to do so many more things with the Endure keyword that way.
That's awesome. I love that.
All right, so she drew all the black chips.
Yep, and then
it says
have an awaken ability.
It says awaken. So awaken if any neutral or a stone mount ability card is active, which it is. I'm going to gain 1 green AP.
Which now is going to allow you to get into Rain of Fire later.
Next turn.
Yeah.
So I'm ramping up. I didn't do a lot of damage at all.
Sure.
But she's ready for next turn.
Okay.
So she's done.
Yep.
Pavel, you're up.
Go, Pavel. Let's get some stuff.
Remember, I don't have any negative chips.
I know. Come on, where's that purple? Give it to me. Where are you at? I know you're in here. What? Oh, there it is. I missed it. There it is. Hey, I got the purple chip. That's what I wanted. This is what I got from the Dark Hammer. So we've got a massive attack opportunity here. So what's going to happen here is I am going to activate my Silver Torrent.
Okay.
So Silver Torrent, and let me throw this up on the screen so y'all can read along with me, so you can see what's happening here. I get to attack an enemy for a +1. Oh, these came off, right?
They did.
Yep. Sorry, those shouldn't be there anymore. So +1. I attack at 3. This gives me, I'm going to attack at 4. And then I could endure, not going to, obviously, because there's nothing to draw. But this is going to be just a straight attack at 4. And they only have 1 defense. So that's a 3.
That's right.
That's nice. So we're taking them down to 1.
1 health.
Okay, that cost 1 action point to activate.
I think
I can take them out. Yeah,
you can take them out.
I can take them out with overtake. So
or just a standard attack.
Just a standard attack at that point. Yeah. So standard attack. Let's just do that.
Okay.
It's going to be 3 damage to their 1 defense.
You got him.
Boom.
It's over. Here.
You are.
So what do we get?
Dead. We get 3 Lux Essence.
Okay.
Yeah. So you can see we've got this really cool dial. Now talk about what these are.
So the Lux Essence is like a community pool or party pool of experience that we're gathering, and those can be traded into unlock new cards and chips for our bag on these guards' skill trees. And each one of the guards has their own unique skill tree with all kinds of things you can unlock.
And the Syll is just currency.
And Syll is currency, so that's what we'll be using to craft items or stay at the inn, which you'll be wanting to do often.
Metal fragments.
Yes.
What are those?
So metal fragments is an enemy drop.
Okay.
And those are going to be used for crafting and for rebuilding the fort.
Sure.
So we're going to go to enemy drops.
Now, like any kind of RPG campaign game, when an enemy drops something, you have to have a slot to put it into, correct?
That's correct.
So as you defeat more enemies, you're gonna can you drop something to pick something?
You can absolutely drop something.
So that whole.
So inventory management is important.
Yeah.
And there are items that you can actually increase your storage slots to hold more as well. Okay. So that is something that's craftable.
Nice.
Yep. So I've got 2 slots here.
You do have 2 slots.
Yeah, and I'll hold on to the pieces of metal for us.
Okay, so the battle's over. What happens now?
So we would go right back into the exploration phase.
Perfect.
So we would clean up normally this enemy.
Yep.
We'd put all their stuff back in the components, and then we'd begin again.
Okay.
And we're right next to a harvesting mine.
We are next to a node.
And you've got the wood chopping axe.
I do have the wood chopping axe. So we're going to be able to get... let me grab this.
I believe...
I dropped it. Number 25.
I believe that's dogwood.
It is dogwood. Yep.
All right.
We're going to get some dogwood.
All right, let's grab some dogwood.
Hardy tree here.
And you've got 2 slots open. So
I do. So you can see there's the dogwood
and
tree.
You're going to get 4, so flip that over to the other side.
Oh, that's right. So max it, right?
That's right. Anytime you gather a resource from a node, you get the maximum amount, which is 4.
Yeah, and you can see there on the bottom right there. So 4 dogwood. Okay.
And anytime you use a resource, I want to point this out. Let's say we were to go to like a city and craft something like a piece of armor or whatever. And let's say it only used 1 piece of the dogwood. Okay. You could just flip that card over to the other side, and it's going to have the opposite value. Yeah. Everyone else. So there's only 2 cards of each resource in the game. Try to get the card count down.
Well, yeah, because then you're that's really smart.
So you can just flip it over to the quantity that you have.
Nice. Yep. I like that. So we've harvested our dogwood. Now you can see here that it's a dead end. Which means we've got to go back out to 26.
You've got to go right back to 26 again.
Which means there is a possibility of redrawing that.
Let's hope we get a compass chip this time.
All right. Well, I'm going to
not the triple skull. A compass chip.
This is a compass chip.
You got one.
So what did this do?
So we have a couple different options. When you get a compass chip, that means it's like an open road.
Okay.
Which means we could just continue down the path.
Life's a highway.
No battle.
Right? Okay.
Now, another cool option is, let's say we're looking for a specific enemy for like a specific drop. We're like, hey, we need this upgrade, but we're missing this.
Yeah.
We can look at the possible encounters for this node and say, hey, that's the enemy I need to get. So I can choose the battle.
So you're going and hunting that.
That's right. So every yellow node has 3 possible enemy encounters. So if you take a look at the chips, there's a 1, a 2, and a 3 skull chip.
Yep.
So I can choose one of these 3 encounters if I'm looking for a specific drop. So that is the power of the compass chip, is looking for whatever I want for drops.
But I think in this case, we want to potentially do some narrative stuff.
So the third option is every single time you draw a compass chip, you take a purple cube.
Yep.
And you place it
Give me
on
2 of those, actually.
What's that?
We're gonna. Can we?
Oh yeah, you just want to do one?
Yeah, we're gonna simulate. Yeah. So basically, what would happen is
wrong one.
Oh, you're good. So let's say we've drawn 2 compass chips.
That's right, and this is our third one.
This is our third one. So what happens once we've got our 3?
So yeah, we draw a compass chip. We put a purple cube on the region's field event deck. Once there's 3 cubes, we take the cubes off, and then we activate the event for that node. So let's go ahead and do that.
Okay. There is some narrative here that I'd like to share with everybody. So inside a makeshift tent made from animal hides, you discover a man wrapped in a bundle of furs. I was waiting out the storm, he explains. I haven't eaten in days. The man is too weak to stand, let alone hunt down his own meal. So we have a path. So choose this path. We can give the man an item from the guard satchel. So one of our equipments, right?
Oh, okay.
Something we have. It must have any of the following. Steak item, or clayhorn steak, a golden potato, or myrrh bread. Okay. Now, I'm not holding any of that.
I am.
What do you have over there?
I do happen to be holding a myrrh bread.
Okay.
In my inventory. So we could possibly
give that to him.
We could.
Or we could instead go forage the area for food and supplies to help him with as much as possible.
Yeah, what do you think? What do you think?
Is the myrrh bread, does it heal you if you were to activate it yourself?
So if I were to use it in battle, it heals my HP by 3 and I gain 3 defense, so it's good.
Oh, that's sweet.
But I mean, I have a feeling
like helping him out's going to be better.
I think it might be the better choice.
So let's do that. It's your item, so I'll let you make that choice. So I think that's good.
I will. I'll trade in the myrrh bread here.
Okay.
I'll put it back into the supply.
Let's see what happens.
And let's see what happens.
So if we choose number 1, we discard the item. Overjoyed, the man chews the food slowly, trying not to make himself sick by eating too much at once. When he is finished, he stares up at you gratefully and pulls a blue stone from his pocket. Obtain an aquamarine speaking stone.
Oh my goodness. So
now this is important because this is like the magic of the realm, right? Like these speaking stones?
Yeah, this is like how we do the bag building in the game. Okay. So these speaking stones are slotted into the guard's weapon or armor if they have an open slot. So I'm going to show you.
Oh, yeah. So we both, and that's how we started with some extra stuff.
Yeah,
right?
Go ahead and show Yana's or Pavel's hammer off there. If you flip it to the opposite side there.
Yep.
So he has a slot that's open.
The slot open.
That's right. So when you see these slots on equipment, that tells you how many of these stones you can put into that piece of equipment. Now, Pavel started with that weapon and he already has an obsidian stone in his weapon. However, he does not have a stone in his armor right now.
Oh, that's right. So my armor could also get upgraded.
That's right. It also has a slot that has no stone.
Right.
So we just gained an aquamarine.
And what this means is you can see on the reverse side of this that there is the chip that gets added into your bag when you get that stone.
That's right.
So this aquamarine. So we've got this on my weapon. I've crafted. I've magically, upgraded my weapon. Now my armor is going to get magically upgraded with what I assume that to be when I draw it, gain life.
That's right.
All right.
Here's the really cool thing about that is it's a purple heart. And if you remember while we were drawing, black chips are the only ones that count against the draw, and purple always returns to my bag.
Right. It doesn't go to your discard.
That's right. It's a permanent regen.
Yep.
So it's a great chip to put on your tanking type guard.
Absolutely.
As you're constantly especially if you're not using abilities that can do healing and things like that. So that's a great pickup for that event.
Really, really good for this character specifically because like the last battle, if you remember, I was up to 5 defense. If I can make sure I'm just doing a standard attack to get that aggro, so maybe they're always attacking me, I'm taking damage and healing, and you're over there casting magic and all that craziness, right? So that's super good.
Yep. And if you didn't have that defense that he put up that one turn, I think you would have took like 5 or 6 damage.
I would have taken 5 damage. Yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot. And that's important. We didn't really talk about it during the battle itself, but when you take damage in battle, it stays there. It's permanent.
Right. That's right.
So you're going to have to find ways to heal yourself back up because once you've reached 0, you can sit. What happens there?
So yeah, once the guards fall in battle, they're going to lose all the contents. We talked about
talked about losing the satchel.
Everything in the satchel is gone. All of our sil is lost.
So we drop all our gold. That's right. All of our currency.
And then the guards are like respawned back at the last save point.
Okay.
Now the last save point is either going to be the last inn that we saved at. Sure. That could be in one of the cities in Isofar, or it's going to be back at the fort, which is kind of like our home base.
Right.
Yeah.
And depending on what you're trying to accomplish, starting back at the fort may not be great. Because that's if you're trying to get up north.
That's right.
That's a long.
It's gonna mean I'm gonna have to travel all the way back up there again. So you want to be prepared when you're going, specifically if you're going away from the main cities, especially getting up into the north. It's going to be longer distances from where you can save. And
because I mean these tend to be like more unexplored territories, right? Or just harder things where you might encounter more bosses or some more harder enemies.
The frozen north typically has some tougher stuff. Yeah,
for sure. So once we've done this encounter, which by the way, Was the encounter deck system part of your original concept for the game? Like these narrative events?
So no, I'm glad you brought that up. So the field events are something that we added as kind of like an expansion-ish type of content.
Yeah.
We had thought about doing expansions for this game a long time ago.
Sure.
And decided just with how big it was getting and with how much time was going by, we just kind of put them to the wayside. They just weren't going to happen.
Okay.
But about a year ago, after we sent this game out to reviewers, we got some feedback, and they're like, hey, the game is great, but if we could have some random things that can happen to kind of make the world feel a little bit more alive,
sure,
and add some randomness to it, it would really add something special. So I went back to, my idea box.
Because any designer's got a plethora of like, oh, here's some good idea stuff that I'd like to get in there.
And I liked this idea before, but we didn't have time to really flesh out. But
yeah.
I did have the time at that time to revisit the idea, and we ended up going back and adding these field events to the game, and they really did.
They do, and I'll be honest with you, like seeing these and looking through them and knowing how they're going to interact, this makes it feel like you are literally interacting with NPCs.
That's right.
And side quests and other things that are happening. So the world actually feels like there are things happening out there.
Yes.
And this, I would say, is probably a positive effect of COVID because it gave you an opportunity to go back and really dive in, right?
Yeah, there weren't really many
things
that happened from the pandemic.
But this could be...
The extra time and delays that we went through, I suppose, you could think of it as a positive thing that happened in this game.
So I think, any extra time you had on that. All right, so... we have finished that narrative event.
That's
so
right.
If we were going to continue the campaign, what would be something that we might be doing next? Now, we're going to go ahead and finish the video.
Yeah.
We're going to chat. But I was just curious, from this point, we've built our bag up a little bit. We've gotten some things. What might we want to do going forward?
So normally, we would be back into the exploration phase.
Right.
And in the campaign book, it's going to tell us where the next story event would be happening at.
Okay.
So let me grab that chip.
And that's going to be a chip that is located on the board.
That's right. So it's going to say, hey, the next story trigger happens at this node. And
which is just like in a video game. It's got that little compass rose. It's like, hey, you got to go south.
That's exactly right. So we can choose whether or not to go trigger that story event, or we can just continue exploring. We choose when to advance the story. Yeah. So it's open world. You can decide whether or not to go that. You can even go to the chip itself and continue to go and not trigger. So you choose when to trigger.
Yeah.
The other possible chips that could be on the board are this campfire chip. This is going to mark where you last saved.
Okay, so that's what we talked about.
That's right. This will either be at the fort
or... this is your respawn point.
That's right. Let's say we stayed at the inn in Strofa here. That's where it's going to be. Okay. And we can either mark it on the main map, or let me show these off.
Yeah, show off these little sideboards here.
So each one of these cities has their own mini map that's kind of like a zoomed in version.
Yeah.
And they have their own nodes on it. So these are all the areas.
Are these of plastic?
No, it's just like a thicker cardstock.
It feels great.
Yeah, they turned out really good.
It feels awesome. Oh, wow. And they're double-sided? Oh, my God.
Lots of locations.
This is so cool. I love being able to, physically hold, oh, cool. From a crow's view.
That's right.
Hey, here's what it looks like.
Top down.
But then I'm in the city, and I'm looking this is my map.
And that is actually the city that we were looking at.
Oh, my gosh. This is so cool.
It's like the river trade there.
It's so cool. And I've not seen this yet, so this is why I'm
surprised.
I'm really cool about this. When we're in Strofa, are these areas that we can then go have encounters and go?
Yeah. So notice that they're green nodes. So unlike the yellow ones that are on the map, we're not drawing from that event bag. Right. So no battles or things. So any one of these green nodes that has an icon next to it tells me that I can interact with it and do something.
So here's the inn.
So that I can stay there.
This looks like potions.
That's right. So that's the marketplace.
It looks like you can go here. This is the blacksmith. Oh my gosh.
So lots to do. Now, if it does not have an icon and it's just a green node, that is a point of interest. That is where things like the main story could have a scene there.
Sure.
A side quest could happen there. And we didn't talk about this.
Yeah.
Every inn for all these different cities, they have their own quest called bounties, almost like a bounty board.
Yeah.
So the inn is like, hey, there's this crazy creature that's been killing people in this forest over here. We need it taken care of.
It's like The Witcher.
That's right.
That's right. You gotta go.
I'll mark on this head.
You gotta go kill him. You gotta go knock him. Oh my
Wow. And those are going to be really challenging encounters. So you'll mark that on the map. So that is going to be, let me show that ship as well. Man. So you'll do like a side quest or a bounty quest, and you'll put this scroll chip on where that can trigger.
Yeah, maybe you're up here in the north, and
so you'll have all these events taking place, and you decide where to go.
It's incredible.
So it's a really big sandbox for people who really want to explore.
Oh my gosh,
lots to do.
It feels like I'm like going back and I'm playing through something like Skyrim or Witcher. Like I feel like there's so much to do. Like looking at Stropha, like I could get lost visiting these points for 20, 30 minutes, like
easily.
Just okay, let's go here, see what happens. Let's go here. Oh, I've got those metal fragments. I want to go to the blacksmith.
That's right.
I've got gold. Like, oh my goodness.
And we didn't really show it on camera, and I'll probably show it in another video, but each blacksmith and each marketplace has their own unique set of things. And
so different things are offering.
Yeah, and not only that, they each have their own value that location places on like an enemy drop. For example, Silney, if I go to like their marketplace, he's more north than Isofar. So maybe the animal pelts and furs are going to be more common. He's not going to pay as much for someone who's down in Razdor here.
Right.
They're away from the north. They're going to give you more money if I have some furs on me.
Yeah.
So you'll have to think about where you want to sell your enemy drops. So there's a whole economy system that's in place as well.
Wow. And one of the things too that I want to mention is there's this really, I mean, you've gone, so by the way, sorry, getting sidetracked, but you did an awesome unboxing with Board Game Co. with Alex and Meg. Go watch that video if you want to see more of like what's coming in the game, because we're not going to show them here, but the books, the massive campaign books, the index that shows the skill trees and what you can upgrade and where, and then also talking about what you were talking about, like the different resources and where you can go and do all this stuff. It's incredible. I mean, it's well laid out. It's easy to understand. It's easy to digest. Eric, you've got a massive hit. And Lizzie and I got to play this as a prototype. And I can say from that prototype of just the very simple basics to seeing what it's morphed and evolved into is incredible.
Yeah, thank you.
It's so, I mean, you should be really, really proud about this.
We have been waiting a long time to get this out there. And
everyone has. But I can tell you, if you're a backer of this game, having seen the physical version, gotten my hands on it, and played it, you are in for a very special treat. They are not going to be disappointed.
We really hope that people love this game. We have poured everything we have into it. The story, the music, the narration. We hope this is something that's on people's tables for years. They really love it.
I rarely say this, so I have to be careful when I do. But I can guarantee you that this is the next Gloomhaven phenomena, where you will have groups playing this for years, like going back through, because not only do you have 5 campaigns, right? Five campaigns. 5 campaign books. You've got how many different characters?
So there's 8 guards.
There's 8 different guards, and I'm not sure there's some miniatures and stuff, but there's the different combinations. Just think about those combinations going through and playing. Like, there's so much content.
Let's talk about that for a second. Yeah. So the first 4 campaigns, each campaign focuses on 2 specific guards.
Right. So first one's Gregory and Alec.
That's right. So number 2 is Catherine and Yuri.
Okay.
Campaign 3 is Karzan and Vera.
Yep.
And then this would be Pavel and Yana.
Okay.
Now,
so you get to know those characters.
That's right. So I don't think we've even said this before. So at the start of each campaign, the opening scene starts at the exact same location.
Right, in which we talked about
the prologue. So
the prologue,
you're seeing that same starting location through the other's eyes from different perspectives.
Sure.
And then throughout each campaign, you'll see events like crisscross that you've experienced in previous
like intersections and stuff.
That's right.
Yeah.
Like, wait, I remember when Gregory and Alec were there and this was happening. And the thing that was happening there was because you just did something in a different campaign. You're like, oh, wait a minute. Like, you're putting pieces together. The story's kind of being put together as you go.
Yeah.
And then campaign 5 is the finale.
Sure.
And that's when the guards kind of come together and you'll be able to customize the 2 that you control.
Oh,
so
see?
The party's going somewhere together.
Now, with campaign 5, so for instance, let's say I've played through all 4. Is campaign 5 replayable? In the sense where I can choose a different combination and go back and play it?
So the story itself from campaign 5 isn't replayable.
Right, right. It's known, it's set, right?
It's set, but Campaign 5 really opens it up because let's say you went through the previous campaigns and you didn't finish all the bounty quests and the side quests.
Right.
You can choose to complete them in Campaign 5.
Okay.
So you can go back and like, hey, I want to complete this other, event that I did.
Your opportunity.
Or hey, I want to rebuild the fort that I didn't focus on. So there's all this optional content that you can do.
Yeah.
So there's plenty to do.
That's almost, and that reminds me of like when you get to the end of a video game and you're like, okay, once you do this, you cannot go back and redo this. So that's right. It's like, okay.
It actually does say that.
Yeah.
It does. It in the campaign book, it says once you go past this page, there's no turning back. So if you want to complete these things, do them now.
I love it.
And that's kind of like a warning. Like, be prepared before you turn the page.
Be ready to fight. I love it. Eric, I'm so excited. I can't wait to get my hands on playing through this and play solo or cooperatively.
That's right, 1 to 2.
1 to 2 players, that's such a good player count. For me, it's hard to get a group of 4 players together, so something like a Gloomhaven or Frosthaven becomes a lot harder because of the fact that that's a lot of, it's life, right? It's hard to get that many number of people together consistently and all that stuff. So this is a lot easier, obviously, with me just having a spouse that plays. So it's either I can play through, like I'm assuming that I could even be playing through solo and play through cooperatively with them, right?
Yeah, you could have someone pop in and control the second character. Absolutely.
Yeah, which is great. So whenever they feel like they want to play or whatever, or they're like, hey, why don't you keep progressing the story or whatever and bring me in? So there's just a lot of flexibility here.
Yes.
It's awesome. Well, do you have anything else you want to tell people? Let us know like where we can find you, kind of all that stuff.
So this is going to be, it's already printed. The games are actually, at the time of this video, games are loading boats this week.
Woohoo!
And
if you're a backer,
we should see games probably start to hit tables possibly late March at the earliest, and definitely into April. And most of the games are already sold out. So we've only got like a couple hundred left on our web store. So that's skykingdomgames.com /products.
There you go. I will put that in the description of this video. So if you're interested in going and taking a look at that. Now, granted, this is a very luxury product. So, I mean, there's a lot of stuff. 1,500 cards.
240 weighted chips.
Weighted, like poker chips. Miniatures. Game trays. Can't forget about game trays.
That's right.
Dual layer boards.
Boards.
This literally, if you think of a board game deluxe edition, boom.
Yep. And the insert, I don't know if we didn't really mention at the beginning, the insert is kind of like built in. So you don't have to buy like a third-party insert. The box is side-loaded, so everything has its own box. And for sleevers out there, the boxes support sleeve cards. So we got sleeves in the store too, but we have an extra box for the poker size cards just for sleeves.
Yep.
And then the square cards for these equipment and things, there's an extra row for sleevers as well.
And
too.
The cards fit in here sleeved.
They do.
Which is important.
They do. Yeah, I had to make these slots a little larger for sleevers.
I love it. Well, Eric, thank you so much for coming down and taking time to show me this. Again, having seen it in its infancy, watching it where it is, it's cool. I'm excited for you. I can only imagine how you're feeling, right? And there's nervousness, right? I'm sure there's a little nervousness.
There is. I'm super excited, but yeah, I just can't wait. Right. I can't wait for people to dive in and experience it themselves and hear what Foreteller has done in the story. The Foreteller stuff, we didn't even really get into that as much as I would have loved to, but it's amazing. That's where the magic really, with the story, just hearing the actors act the story out and all the effects and things, it makes a big difference with the music. I can't wait for y'all to experience this. Well, thanks again so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed seeing what Isofarian Guard brings to your table, what you can expect from it. And Eric, thank you for allowing us to show off brand new characters you've not gotten to see played at the table. And then also going into more of like less combat and showing off the world and going through that exploration and talking about that. So thanks for coming over. Thanks for having me. All right, everybody. See you later. Later.